Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. Delighted, as always, to be joined by Ra Hokum once again. Ra, we spoke on Friday when you were ringside in Telford, so it's nice to speak to you so soon afterwards. We are here to give our final predictions out of the big fight tonight between Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou taking place in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Ra, not long to go now. One question I've got before we got into final predictions is, where are the excitement levels? Considering Joshua, he's not actually fighting a boxer here. And we've seen Joshua in some big nights, whether it be against Usyk, Klitschko, Andy Ruiz. How excited are you for this fight against Francis Ngannou?
For the fight itself, probably only at 50%. For the card overall, probably about 80%, because I think we can all agree it's a hell of a card. I'm guessing the main event is aimed at the casuals. It is still somewhat of a novelty fight, even with Ngannou's top 15 ranking with the WBC. So yeah, excitement level probably only at 50%. But I don't know, if when we go into the analysis of the fight, it should actually be a bit higher based on what Ngannou brings and what vulnerabilities we've seen of AJ in the past.
Yeah, for sure. I just think, look, we'll see. It could be an anticlimax. We could see a highlight reel knockout. We could see a shock. There are a number of things that could happen here. Without further ado, we've had obviously all the build up now. This is we've had kind of the press conference. There's obviously respect between the two. But I'll hand things over to you now, Raul. What is your final prediction now for Joshua versus Ngannou?
Well, I mean, just a quick little analysis of how things can go. We saw what Ngannou did to Fury, and of course, people will say, "Well, that Fury was he underestimated him, etc." Blah blah blah. What we saw is that Ngannou comes with tremendous physical traits for whatever his technical shortcomings are. All the punches that Fury landed on him and an elbow just bounced off him. So I think it's fair to presume he's got tremendous punch resistance. And he can punch himself tremendously. Now, because of that, I think that there is a significant jeopardy, Anthony Joshua. AJ looked great against Valine, but the question marks about him, that plagued him ever since probably the Ruiz loss was, how does he cope with someone who comes at him uninhibited pressure? And how will he cope with getting hurt? The one thing about Fury is, even if he's in bad shape, we know he's got a tremendous ring IQ, and we know he can adjust on the fly if need be. And I think that's what happened. He realized pretty soon that he can't hurt this guy, and he can be hurt by him. He needs to switch to a boxing performance and just nick the rounds. My concern for AJ is, if he gets hurt, there is this perception even within the industry that he stays hurt. Fury, we know, has got tremendous powers of recovery. AJ does not. And like I said, Ngannou's going to be someone who attacks him, and he'll be uninhibited in his attacks. So if he gets AJ hurt, although I don't think AJ's got a glass chin the way a lot of people think he has, I think his problem is the recovery. The early signs of that was against Klitschko that first time, but Klitschko, of course, was conservative himself. Andy Ruiz was someone who got him hurt and could keep punching, so he couldn't recover, get him out of there. So that is where the danger for AJ is. If he does get caught, especially someone as big a puncher as Ngannou, he will stay hurt, and Ngannou will carry on, trying to get him out of there. So that there is a significant threat there. Also, the stamina factor. Now, I know we all certainly Fury makes fun of AJ's bodybuilder physique, not conducive to, high stamina. And although Ngannou has a similar physique, I didn't think he showed stamina problems against Fury. We know Fury's got tremendous stamina. Yes, Ngannou was tired towards the end, but there's a difference between getting tired and being exhausted. I never thought at any point Ngannou was tired enough that he could be put in trouble. He just wasn't working as hard. So that means he's likely to be dangerous right to the end. I think so. There is significant threat there to AJ. In terms of how I think it will go, I think him and his team are well aware now of the dangers Ngannou poses. I think AJ might finally be at peace with what his limitations are. And with Ben Davison's tutelage, he's probably going to work with those limitations, i.e., know that he has slow recovery, that his gas tank does run down. And part of his learning is to finally know how to manage his gas tank. So I think he will box sensibly against Ngannou. I think he'll hopefully see quite quickly that his punches are not going to be enough to lay Francis out with a single shot, or even probably not a combination of shots, which is what his strengths are. And as a result, I see him boxing sensibly, keeping his range, landing hard enough shots to keep Francis honest. But I think most likely he'll settle for a wide points decision. But this is the thing, I do expect at some point in the fight, at least once in the fight, him to get at least buzzed, if not actually hurt. Wouldn't shock me at all to see AJ even on the canvas, just like Fury was. But I do think he's learned enough from some of those, those hard fights he's had, where he's shown, that mental vulnerability. I think he's learned enough and is at peace with it enough to know how to get through that storm, and I think he will get through it. And a stoppage, I think, could be on the cards maybe towards the end. I don't see him putting Francis down, but maybe something like a closed eye. Or maybe if Francis is sufficiently worn down, just land repeated power shots that forces the referee to call time on it, maybe rounds 8 to 10. But I think the most likely outcome is probably a wide points win, despite a couple of hairy moments I expect him to experience.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, no, appreciate the breakdown, the analysis, and the final prediction, Ra. I think like what's most likely here, according to a lot of people, is a Joshua stoppage. However, you've gone for a Joshua points. I'm going for Joshua points. Despite kind of us, it feels like we're in the minority here. But I do agree with you, and I just do think that it gets to round 7, round 8. If Joshua's won the vast majority of the rounds, why would you then risk it to try and stop Ngannou? When you can just kind of, I don't want to say coast, but just win the other rounds as well. But we'll see. I'm interested to see Ngannou's game plan as well. If he, I don't want to say is happy to settle for a points loss, but how much he's really going to go for it, and what happens if Ngannou connects with Joshua. So it is interesting. Before we stop, Ra, because I'll let you go, how much of a chance are you giving Ngannou here? Some people would kind of give him a 1% chance. Some people might give him a 50% chance. How much of a chance are you giving him?
I'll give him a significant chance, significant underdog's chance, maybe about 20 to 25%.
Yeah.
Which again, based on the fact that he's an 0-1 novice, essentially, pretty high odds. But we've seen in that one fight he's had what he can do. And like I said, I think he is a tremendous physical specimen. And unless he gets blasted out on Friday night, I expect him to be a significant factor in the heavyweight division, the top level of the heavyweight division for a few years. I think that there are top 10 heavyweights who he can beat now.
Yeah. We'll
so
see.
Yeah,
see what's next. All right, then. Ra, thank you for your time. Thank you for the analysis. And thank you for your final prediction. Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou is taking place in just a few hours. If you're watching this video, please let us know what you think of Ra's prediction. Feel free to give him as much stick as possible. That's what we're all here for. And give your own prediction as well. Ra, thank you for your time. And I'll see you again soon. Take care.